everyone and welcome back. So today we are going to create simple pagination with React from scratch. And as you can see in here, this is the final project. And by the way, I'm not adding any CSS for this project because I just want to focus on how to create this pagination. And as you can see, we're on the page 1, and if I click 1, nothing happened. If I click 2, we're on the page 2. If I click 9, we're on the page 9. 10, we're on the page 10. So this data right here is come from randomuser.me/API. I put link in the description. Basically, this link gives us 50 different users. And as you can see right here, we have the first name and last name and the phone number. That's the data I'm showing right here. All right, so let's see how we create that. So as you can see in here, I have already generated a React app. You can use npx or yarn. And let's start the app. I'm using yarn, by the way, so I can just say yarn start. Okay, it's done. Let's go to the browser. This is React app by default, and let's remove a couple files in here. I'm gonna remove the CSS and the logo and everything in here. So let's delete that. We just have index and app in source folder. So let's go to index. I'm gonna remove the CSS and report web vitals, everything down here. Save. So let's go to the app.js file and let's make that smaller. I'm gonna remove everything in here and just put div, and I'm gonna give a h1 in here, just say pagination demo, and let's get rid of this everything up here like so and save. Now we should see h1 with pagination demo in the browser. Refresh, and here we go. The next thing is I'm going to fetch the data from the randomuser.me/API. I'm going to copy that, and in here let's use use effect because we are going to fetch the data inside a use effect. And just make sure you import up here, and in here we are going to paste in empty string. That means everything inside the use effect right here will be running every time we refresh the browser. That's what we need to fetch the data. All right, so in here I want to create a function. Just give a name fetch users, set that equals to arrow function, and let's running the fetch user function down here. Wait, fetch users like so, and inside in here I'm going to fetch data using axios. So let's import axios. I'm going to open a new terminal and let's say yarn add axios. Wait, axios. All right, so it's done. Let's import axios up here. We can say import axios from axios, and we need to create a variable called response, set that equals to axios.get, and let's put the link right here. And I just want to say async await in here, async await, and let's just console.log the response. So now save. Let's take a look in the browser. Let's refresh and see in the console what we have. Yeah, we have the response, and as you can see right here, we have the data and the results. We have 50 different users. Okay, so we can access the data right here by say res.data.results. Okay, so we need to store this data, which is this array right here, into the state. So I want to create a state called users and set users, set that equals to use state, and just make sure you import I'm here, and by default I just want to say empty array. So down here we need to say set users. So if I console.log users, now we should see 50 different users. So refresh, And here we go. The first thing is we have empty array, and then we get 50 different users. Okay, so far so good. I'm gonna create another state in here to say const loading and set loading. So that equals to use state. By default, just want to say false. Okay, so in here, before we get the response, I want to set the loading into true, and after we get the response, I'm going to set the loading into false. Okay, and then down here I'm going to use ternary operator. So if loading is true, I want to say a paragraph in here, just say loading like so, else I want to use a React fragment, and in here let's just say h1 data like so. So now save and see. If I refresh, now we have loading and then data. Okay, let's do that again. We have loading and data. Okay, cool. So let's close the terminal, and I'm gonna create another folder in here. Let's just say components, and I'm gonna create a file called users.js file, and inside in here I'm gonna create rfce, which is functional test component. So let's just put users. So now save, and now we need to import the user in here. So import users from component/users. Okay, so let's put the users component in here. So let's get rid of this h1 and put a user right here. So now save. Now we should see loading and then user. So now refresh, loading and then users. Okay, cool. So now we need to send this user right here, which is 50 different user from the API. We are going to send that into the users component. So we can just say users, so that equals to users from state, which is right here. Okay, and I'm gonna remove this console, and I'm gonna create another state, just call page, and set page, so that equals to use state, so that equals to, by default, just say 1, because the meaning about page is if I click the 1, the page is 1. If I click 2, the page is 2. And by default, the page is 1. Okay, so we need to send this thing right here into right here to say page, so that equals to page from the state. Okay, so now save, and let's go to users, and in here we need to grab the users and page. If I console.log, console.log the users and the page, now we should see 50 different users and then 1. So now let's refresh. As you can see, we have 50 different users and then we have 1. Okay, cool. So let's create another folder inside the source. I'm going to create untils, and inside the untils folder, I'm going to create a file called constants.js, and in here I'm going to export a variable called user per page, and just say 5. Okay, I'm going to showing 5 different users for each page. So let's just copy this variable name and don't forget to save, and just close and go back to user.js file, and in here I'm going to import import, and just put the variable name, and from, because we need to go to outside the components folder, let's go to untils and then constants. Okay, So if I console.log to user per page, user, we should get 5. Refresh and 5. Okay, so let's go back, and in here I'm going to create variable called selected users, so that equals to users dot slice. Before we put any parameter inside a slice, I'm going to create variable called star index, set that equals to page minus 1, and then times by user per page. Okay, and we're going to put the star index into the first parameter, and then for the second parameter it should be star index plus user per page. So what I'm meaning about this is, if we on the page 1, we know that page have a default value 1, right? If we on the page 1, 1 minus 1, it should be 0, 0 times 5, it should be 0. We know that if we on the page 1, star index should be 0, and then everything in here, it should be 5. Okay, if we on the page 2, 2 minus 1, it should be 1, 1 times 5, it should be 5. Star index should be 5, and then everything in here, it should be 10. Okay, so let's take a look at right here. We have a users variable, and this is array, and I have variable called selected users and user.slice 0 to 5. If I console.log the selected users, this will be showing the user 1 until user 5, because they start from 0, which is in here, until 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I run that, now we have user 1 until user 5. Okay, if I change that to 5 until 10, now this should be start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start from user 6 into user 10. Let's take a look. User 6 until user 10. Okay, that's what happened in here. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So I'm gonna remove everything in here and just return selected users dot map and get for each user, and I'm gonna return the user component. So let's create user component. I'm gonna create user.js, and this should be a functional path component, RFCE, and let's just put a user. Okay, so now save, and let's go back in here and let's import user from ./users. Okay, so now let's save and let's take a look, refresh. Now we should have a 5 user. Okay, cool. So next we need to send this user into the user component. So let's say user, set that equals to user. Okay, so let's grab the user into the user component. Let's do structuring in here. Let's say user. If I console.log the user, we should see 5 different user. Let's refresh and see what we have. And here we go, we have 5 different user, and we need to showing just the first name and last name and the phone number. Okay, so let's remove the console, and inside in here I'm going to give a HR, and let's say paragraph, and I'm going to use a backtick in here like so. Let's just say full name. We need to grab the where's this name, user.name.first space user.name.last. Okay, so if I save, now we should get the full name for each user, and here we go. Cool, all right? So now let's showing the phone number. We can just copy and paste. This should be phone and user dot phone, I believe. Let's get rid of this everything in here. Wait, like so. Now save and bam. And we have warning in here. Each child in the list should have a unique key. So let's go to the users, and in here we should give a key in here. Let's just say key. I'm going to access the key, so I can say user dot login dot uuid. Okay, so now save, and the warning should be gone. Okay, everything is clean. Now we are going to create the pagination down here. So let's go back, and I'm going to create a file called pagination. Wait, pagination.js, and let's generate RFCE, which is functional base component, and let's just put pagination, save, and let's go back into the app.js file, and we need to import that up here. So let's say import pagination from dot slash component slash pagination. Okay, so let's put the pagination component in here, like so. So now if I save, well, now we should see text pagination down here. I'm not sure why it's not auto reload, but it's okay. As you can see, we have pagination in here. So next, I'm going to add another state in here. Just give a name total pages and set total pages. So that equals to use state. By default, just say 0. And then inside a fetch user function, I'm going to set the total pages. I'm going to use met.tail in here, and I'm going to grab the response.data.results and .length. We know that this is have a value 50, all right? I'm going to divide it by user underscore per page. We know that user underscore per page have a value 5. So 50 divided by 5, it should be 10, all right? If I console.log the total pages, we know that it should be have value 10. Okay, so let's refresh. So we get 0 and then 10. Okay, so next let's send the total pages into the pagination component. So total pages set that equals to total pages, and save. Let's go to the pagination component, and I'm going to grab the total pages in here. So the idea now is we are going to create array from 1 to 10. Okay, now we have this value which is 10. So we're going to create a variable called pages. So that equals to, I'm going to create array and put the total pages inside in here, and just say dot key, like so. Okay, so if I console.log the pages, like so, and refresh, now as you can see we have empty array, and then we have array with value 0 until 9. Okay, I want to the value is 1 to 10, so we can just use dot map and then grab the number. You can just say num plus 1. Okay, if I save, and let's go back in here and refresh, now we should see 1 until 10. Okay, that's what we want. So let's remove this. So next, let's map through these pages inside the div right here. I'm going to say pages.map. Let's grab individual number, and I'm going to return button inside in here and just showing the number. Okay, if I save, now we should see number from 1 to 10 down here. Let's see, and here we go. And we have some warning in here. Let's fix that. Let's go to inside the button right here. I'm gonna say key set that equals to number. Okay, and I want to add event listener in here, which is on click event. So I can just say on click set that equals to. I'm going to go back to app.js. Let's add function in here. Say const handle click set that equals to arrow function, and I'm going to set the page into wherever the number is. Okay, so we need to grab the number in here. Let's send the handle click function in here. Okay, let's do that right here and save. Let's go back to pagination, and we need to grab the handle click, and right here we need to run the handle click like so, and we need to send the number, which is number from here. Okay, now if we click 1, the function in here running and set page should be 1. Okay, and then this page have a value 1. If I click 2, this page have a value 2, and so on. So let's refresh. So now if I click 1, we on the page 1. If I click 2, we on the page 2. Okay, but I like to just add another information here. So let's say in here, let's say p tag, I'm gonna say pages into, let's say, page, and save. Now let's refresh. So as you can see, we're on the page 1. If I click 1, nothing happened. If I click 2, page 2. If I click 5, page 5. Click 10, page 10. All right, so I think that's it for this project, guys, and hope you learned something new from this project, and I'm gonna see you in the very next video. Bye.